Hey guys, it's Hannah and welcome back to the Dyslexic Reader and welcome to my October 2018 wrap up. I read 6 books this month and it worked out numerically quite symmetrical. We had 2 5 stars, 2 4 stars and 2 3 stars. Most of these were ebooks, which is unusual for me. So I've only got like one physical book to show you. So I knew I wasn't going to get to my whole October TBR. There was 10 books on it, but I just wanted to give myself Friday. So I'm actually quite pleased that I even got the 6 of these, especially because some of them were longer. The first book I read was The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson, and this is the third and final book in the Mistborn trilogy, and this was a 5-star. It was absolutely fantastic. The premise of this trilogy is it's an adult high fantasy, and it is about a world in which metals can be used to give power, and there's different ways people can use them, but they either wear or consume the metals, and then they can use those for power. But the different metals do different power. Some metals give you strength or super sight or all those kinds of things, and it's kind of about a team of rogues trying to overthrow the final empire, which is the name of the first book, I think. And yeah, it is absolutely fantastic. This book was good. Again, kind of lags a wee bit, I thought, in the middle, but like the end blew me away. On the last 5th quarter of this book, I couldn't put it down, and I was just staring at the pages, mouth open, as I finished this. The concept of the end and how it was all tied together was just, how all the prophecies and all was just mind-blowing. Like, this is Harry Potter level of world building, and like the thing I liked most about Harry Potter was how so much was tied in, and how things that happened in the first book like really became like instrumental in like the 7th book, and how it ended, like it was all so planned. And this is the kind of level that we're getting here, and it was just absolutely fantastic. So if you have read them, comment down below and we can discuss it, because they were great. The second book I read is the book I have to show you. This is From Atlantis to the Sphinx, Recovering the Lost Wisdom of the Ancient Worlds by Colin Wilson. And this kind of threw me from what it was, because it kind of bills as they have scientific evidence to prove that possibly the Sphinx was not weathered by sand and wind, but by water. And part of it might be much older than sort of ancient Egypt. So this was kind of looking at it kind of from the perspective of Atlantis, but mostly from the perspective of the idea of ancient civilizations that we no longer have knowledge of. Not Atlantis in the sense of a massive city that was lost beneath the sea, although it does touch on that, but more the idea of there was ancient knowledge that we have now lost. It was really interesting. I couldn't put it down. The introduction of the book I read aloud to my boyfriend when we were lying in bed one night, and I started reading it, and I was like, and I just started reading the intro out loud, and he was like, I'm borrowing that after you, that sounds really well done. It's also, even if you're not interested in the topic, this as an insight into the academic, sciencey discovery world is so baffling to me. If you have read Around the World in 80 Days and how there's like the committee that he has to go to and get things approved by, and all, like, that is real. That is really what it like, and it really blew my mind. So this was a 4-star, and for a non-fiction for me, that's pretty high. So I would definitely recommend this. It was written in the late 90s, so possibly there's some things that are scientifically slightly out of date now, but the overall kind of message is really good. It's enjoyable. It's easy read. I have no sort of knowledge of these things prior to this book, and I could understand it. It's a good entry point, so yeah, I would definitely recommend it. It was a high 4 stars. I then read Gregor and the Prophecy of Bane, and this is the second book in the Underland Chronicles by Suzanne Collins. This was another 5-star. I think I enjoyed this more than the first one. The series is about a young boy whose father is missing. This is kind of the premise of the first book. He goes in his father's been missing for a year. They live in a New York apartment block. Him and his baby sister go down to do the laundry, and she crawls through a vent, and he kind of follows her through it, and they end up in the Underland, and there's humans that live down there called Underlanders, and there's giant rats and cockroaches, and they've weird bats that they kind of connect with, and it's just a very cool and unique world. This is a middle grade series, but I would say it was higher on the scale. You're looking at that 10 to 12-ish at least kind of range, and I just really enjoy it. I have been listening to the audiobook. I will say the guy who narrates it, I don't know his name, his voice for Boots, which is the little sister who's only like 1 or 2, is incredibly whiny and at times hard to listen to, but she wasn't as much a part of the second book as the first one, so that's maybe where I liked it a bit more. But yeah, again, kind of with the Hero of Ages, it's the whole prophecy thing and how Gregor has to keep going back there and saving them. And yep, it's just well tied in, and I like the way you get the riddle at the start, like this is the prophecy, and then as the book develops, it like twists it and fits it, but not how you expect it to fit it and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's just a good read. I'm going on holiday soon, and I've downloaded the next 2, and I plan to listen to them while travelling, and I think it will just be a good time. Next was The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. This was meh. It is a shorter novella, 100 odd pages. I read this because Hannah Tay, I'll link the channel down below, is started a book club, and this is her first read for October. It's kind of like a spooky classic. It's kind of like a ghost story. I didn't like it. I didn't not like it. I appreciated the writing style, but I had no clue what was going on. I'm not sure if you're not meant to understand, but I like really didn't understand. I didn't get like a creepy, eerie vibe. I'm like, this is going to have a simple explanation when it's all over. Like, I didn't get that like goosebumpy feeling. And the ending was just pure weird. And not to the point of, whoa, that was weird. That kind of caught me off guard. I kind of like it. Just kind of like, is this how it ends? So I think even 4 stars now, looking back at it, it's generous. It's probably more of like a 2.5. It was just weird, but now I've read Henry James, and I think I know not to revisit him. I then read Shadowsmith by Ross Mackenzie. Ross Mackenzie also wrote The Nowhere Emporium, which I read last year and really enjoyed. And this, again, was really fun middle grade. This was a... I can't remember if I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. I would say it was, you know, about a 4. It wasn't a 4.5 or anything. It was about a 4. 3.8 or something if we're going to be like really technical with these things, but who cares. And this is about, I don't want to give too much away, witch hunting. I'm going to put it at that. It is a middle grade book, and a young boy, our main character, is having a hard time, and this little girl, another 12-year-old girl, appears in life, and it's a bit weird, and they end up hunting witches for a reason that I'm not going to explain. And it is fun. It's a bit creepy. It's magical. There is a lot of spiders. There's a lot of spider artwork in this. So like my brother has really severe arachnophobia. So like he could, if he'd have picked this book up, like he'd have went into a full meltdown. There's a lot of like cobwebs and spider decals on all the pages and stuff. The spiders are in the book. It's not like the biggest plot, but just the inside is a lot of spiders on the edges of the pages and stuff. So that's something to watch for. It didn't bother me. I thought it was creepy and cool and kind of fun. It was just an enjoyable good time. And again, middle grade, but probably the higher end, that 10 to 12 age range. And finally, started the month with Brandon Sanderson and ended the month with Brandon Sanderson. I read Skyward. That is his newest book, which comes out on the 6th of November, so next week. And I gave this 4, it wasn't really a 4, it was like a 3.5 to a 4. I think I actually gave it 3 stars on Goodreads. But I have a whole review coming out on the release date next week, so I'm not going to talk about it too much here, because I'm going to have a full video review coming out for that next week. But I enjoyed it as a standalone story, but just going in with such high expectation of Brandon Sanderson's work didn't quite hit all the buttons for me. But this is, I've only read adult high fantasy from him, and this is a YA sci-fi, so that could be where the jarring comes in. I would still really recommend it to anyone looking like a good entry point to Sanderson's work, or a YA sci-fi that was fine, but definitely not up there with his other books, and I think that's probably why I put it as a 3-star, not a 4-star on Goodreads, because I was holding it just such a high standard. But as I said, my review for coming out. Blah, blah, blah. My review for that is coming out next week, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. So I'm going to end the video here. I hope you're all happy, I hope you're all healthy, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye!